Hello!
Hello, Urians!
Yun, good afternoon, Orients.
Good afternoon.
So good afternoon sa ating mga viewers, especially those who are following the FSUU Basic Education Peer Facilitators na page. Thank you for being here with us today.
And welcome to the Career Talk, a special episode brought to us by our guidance office or the Basic Education or FSUU Basic Education Guidance Office.
Ayun, and we
Yan.
are here live at Morelos Campus, particularly here sa Student Center. I know that most of our students are missing the places in the campus, right, Ma'am Claudine? So we are in our episodes in Sunnyside and all the live episodes that we have for FSU Basic Education, we are showcasing the sceneries here in the Morelos Campus.
Yes, kumbaga parang campus tour, sir.
Campus tour, no? Through
School
our
tour.
live. Ayan. So, Ma'am Claudine.
Yan. And this episode is specially made in celebration for the guidance or for the Career Awareness Week.
Yun, we'll be
Yun.
talking about career. We'll be talking about future plans, right, Ma'am
Yes,
Claudine?
Sir Al.
So sa episode for today or for the episode for Career Talk for high school edition for this year, I'm particularly excited about this because our guest is one of my students, no? She graduated here sa FSUU Morelos nga Basic Education Campus, Ma'am Claudine. And she is one of the students that I really admire the most because of how ideal of an Orient student that she is.
Ayun. So, introducing our special guest for today. She graduated Management Engineering in Ateneo de Manila University. She became an official representative of Ateneo de Manila to national and international business case and marketing competitions. She has worked in Unilever Philippines marketing team for 3 years and a year as a freelance marketing specialist handling premium tourism brands based in Siargao. At present, she is working full-time in the family business while pursuing other personal projects on the side. Let us welcome Miss Regina Angela Andaya.
So, good afternoon, Angela, and welcome to Career Talk. And of course, I'm Sir Al, and with me is Ma'am Claudine.
Hello, Angela.
Ayan.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Ayan. I hope we have not disturbed your precious time, Angela. I hope okay lang kanya. Di ba kayo busy?
Fine.
Yun.
Okay, happy ko to help.
Thank you. Yeah, in behalf of the FSU Basic Education, especially from the guidance office, we are appreciative of your time you are giving us today, Angela, to share, of course, for the FSU community, especially for the basic education students, right, Ma'am Claudine?
That's right, Sir Al. So
Thank you for inviting me.
Hi.
Yes, Angela. So you are at home, right? You are in Butuan, right?
Yeah, I'm based back in Butuan City, so I moved back last year. So now I'm calling you from our studio, Terra Nostra.
Oh, she's in Terra Nostra. I'm Ma'am Claudine, right?
So, Sir Al, shall we start
All
our
right.
chikahan, about career talk? Okay, so, ako mag-start.
Sige, Ma'am Claudine.
Okay, so, Miss Angela, we would like to know first, let's start with the lighter questions, we would like to know, or if it's okay with you, you share to us some of your accomplishments, or important accomplishments in your career,
Success stories,
Success.
ika nga.
success stories, both in corporate world and probably in your current career.
Okay, sige po. So I spent 3 years in corporate. So during that time, I was working in branding and marketing. So brand development and brand building. In that time, I had the opportunity to really work with a lot of well-loved brands. I think some of the highlights there were when I worked with Dove, we were able to launch a product line. So it was supposed to be just a passing product, but we ended up creating a campaign and a mix that was able to turn it into like one of the best sellers that emerged in the following year. So that's one with Dove. So it's being able to launch something and seeing it grow beyond your expectation. Another one I think was with Magnum, one of my last brands that I worked with in Unilever, with Selecta. And with Magnum naman, the story was being able to turn around the business. So from a well-loved brand that had some challenges, through good marketing, good sales, and through a lot of team efforts, we were able to bring the brand to back to growth from a few years of not so good growth. So I think for corporate, yun, and we had a lot in between those. There were really a lot of different events, like being able to launch campaigns with brands like Cream Silk, Sunsilk, Lux. So those are all very enjoyable experiences. It's really hard to pinpoint a few because there were a lot of exciting projects that I was able to be given a chance to work with. Yun for corporate. Tapos after corporate, I went into nag-freelance po ako for other, still doing branding and marketing. So I think the highlights of that stage of my career would be, because this is a point where I was working with small businesses na. So from corporate, big money, big budgets, moving to mostly family-owned businesses. And this was a time where I was working with tourism brands and F&B, so food and beverage, based in Siargao. So for me, coming from a big business to small businesses, a lot of things feel like a bigger achievement because you have a lot less resources. So for me, it was seeing, we launched a cocktail bar and an event space in one of the restaurants I used to work with. So seeing it from nothing and then seeing it evolve into like a weekly habit for tourists and locals to come and visit and enjoy our event. So growing it from an idea to reality. So that was one of the highlights of my stay there with those brands.
Alright.
Ayun, and then, yun, ganun siya for that part of my career.
So that is very interesting, di ba, Sir Al?
I mean, knowing from Angela, no, working in a big company like Unilever, so I think I find it exciting when it comes to those kinds of brands. And then, Angela, how about what do you think is the most exciting part for you working for Unilever? I mean, working working in branding and marketing sa company nga Unilever. What's the most exciting part for you?
Well, I think in working for big companies, the most exciting thing is really being able to learn from your colleagues, from your mentors, and from your team. I think the advantage to going into established corporations is just the amount of talent and resources, because these companies really, as much as possible, hire the best of the best. So being able to really learn work with these type of caliber people to create great campaigns and great products. So for me, that's really the highlight, is really working with the people and learning what I could from those brands and those leaders. Because at the end of the day, it's those learnings that I'm able to now share with small businesses that I'm able to reach out to. And not just that, but most importantly, those are the things that I'm able to take away and bring to our family business. Yun.
Oh, that's
But I think in terms of career marketing, like it's having that access to being able to create TV commercials, advertisements, events, working with celebrities. So it's really like, at that point, it was really my dream job to be in that position.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting from Angela, no. The exciting part. I mean, for us, simple folks, right? seeing celebrities, right,
Yes.
in front or in person is quite exciting naman, di ba?
Tama ka, Sir Al. Tama, Sir Al. And also, that's a very nice point no, from Miss Angela that, when it comes to working, somehow, really, it's not just about, work is not the end game, kumbaga. When you
Tama.
work, you still learn.
Yeah.
You keep on learning or you
Yeah.
continue on learning. That's a very nice
So
point.
education, learning continues even
Mm.
during working life.
Yes, kaya kung
Yan.
akala ng mga estudyante na yung work is already the goal, actually when you start working, you're still
Learning.
learning. You keep
There.
on learning.
It's the process, right?
Yes. And Miss Angela, my next question naman is what inspired you to choose such career? Speaking of kumbaga, career in the corporate world, and also what inspired you somehow to shift from that world to your present career?
Okay, so going into, so after I graduated from FSUU, I think in 2011.
Right.
So, tagal na nun, Sir Al, no? So, si Sir Al was also my teacher and my
Yes.
coach before for mga M-Top namin. So, after graduating from Urios, I went to college at Ateneo de Manila. And the course that I took, management engineering, it's actually very geared towards a corporate track. So the training that we receive, the mentorship that we receive, and also the extracurricular activities are more or less leading you towards a corporate career. So once you're kind of set into that environment, it becomes a question of what kind of career do I want to go to? So some of my friends are more inclined to finance, so they're more into the banking sector. Some of my friends are more into consulting. Other friends are more into sales. So for me, it became, I had to understand first what were the skills that I enjoy, that I like to develop, and what were the subjects that kind of excited me. So in college at that time, the subjects that I loved were really, at first it was really more of literature, English, writing, which is also something I liked back in high school. And then as we moved on to our majors, I realized I could apply these communication skills, these writing skills into branding and marketing, which is essentially being able to tell the story, the brand
Yeah.
story, give your business a personality, give their business a point of view, and market that and know your customer and how to reach your customer with that message. So as I moved on in college, I started to understand that these are the skills that I have, that I like, and this is actually the career space where it can be applied and developed. So that's why when I moved into what job to go for, I was really gearing towards marketing, a career in marketing and brand development. Yun, it also helped me at that time to see other opportunities as a college student kasi I'm sure also even in high school you have competitions, you have different additional events that you can go to learn your options. So in college we also had different competitions also that were geared towards there. So that's where I learned that okay, this is the skill and the career na I'm inclined to go to. Then to answer your question, what made me go from the shift from the big company to now to small business?
Mm-hmm.
I think at a certain point I was looking for a more meaningful way to apply what I know.
Soul searching.
It was more
Soul searching.
parang ganun din. Oo. Kasi iba talaga yung lifestyle in a corporate setting. So the opportunities are really a lot, but something I think at that point of my career, so 3 years in, you also try to think what is the kind of lifestyle that you want to be living on the day to day. So career is not just career choice, but also it's a lifestyle choice. So for example, if you choose to become a lawyer, if you choose to become a medical practitioner, you're also choosing the lifestyle that comes with that career. So for me, a corporate career, the hustle that I experienced, it wasn't something that I saw myself doing on the day to day for the long term. So that's why I tried to explore other opportunities, taking the same set of skills with me and looking at where else I can apply it that has a sort of different lifestyle that yun. So it's still a process, but that was
Yeah,
sort of the shift.
ayun. So, I really like that idea, Sir Al, no? Na parang, career is not just about, choosing what
Yeah.
job you want, but
Yeah.
it's also about the lifestyle. Kumbaga, gusto mo ba yung trabaho na yan? It will be your, kumbaga, in the long
In the long
run.
run.
Yeah, can you really live with it?
Yeah,
Diba?
that's right.
Parang ganun.
So it boils down to the idea that no matter how much you love what you are doing right now,
Mhm.
the question is, will it endure? Diba?
Yeah.
That's the question. Will you endure
Yes.
the tasks that are assigned to you?
Kasi
Or
'di ba, Sir Al, usually we ask our students na parang what do you want to be in the future? And then we expect them to answer one single
answer?
kumbaga career, 'di ba?
Career.
I want to be a lawyer, I want to
Ay,
be a businessman. Parang
tama.
yun na, but how about the other things that you want to pursue? We really don't know, no? Kumbaga sabi nga ni Miss Angela, it's a process.
It's a process.
Kumbaga, it's a process.
Talking about being a student, no, as Angela mentioned earlier, she was my student way back in high
Mm.
school. So, do you think, Angela, when you were in high school, you already had your what do you call this, your future plan out or something like that, or you already somehow have a vision on what you are doing? Do you think so? I mean, like
I
participating
think
in
yes
MTAP.
and no.
Yes.
But hindi naman ako laging mathematician. So, um, I think everyone, well, I can't speak for everyone, so for myself na lang. When I was in high school, I did not have a clear idea of what I wanted to be. I had different dreams, yes. Like at that point, I think I wanted to be a CPA or I wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
Pero when I was in grade school, I wanted to be president of the Philippines. So like it changes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, parang I didn't have a clear idea of this is the career that I wanted. Also, I think it's because at a certain point I wanted to be a theater actress. So there are a lot of different interests that I had, and I think a lot of people have different interests, parts of their personality. But I don't think that there should be a pressure to define that and to choose in a career early on, because especially nowadays, career paths are really morphing.
That's right.
What I mean by that is that there's no single career path anymore. People are kind of it's getting more and more accessible to explore different things at the same time. Unless, of course, you're going to a very specialized career that requires a lot of investment, like medicine or law. Like my friends who have gone those career paths, like they're really, really very determined, and they need to have the willpower to be able to pursue those paths. But for me, it was really more of a like, okay, what do I enjoy doing? And being open to the process and the opportunities around me, and seeking mentorship from the people around me that later on helped me understand, okay, this is what I want to do for now. And then while I'm doing that job, I'm also open, like, okay, how can this develop in the future? So no, I didn't have a clear idea that I wanted to do marketing and branding. It's a process, I think, of being able to redefine who you are. And I think, kasi sometimes I hear criticisms about millennials na we're very flighty. You go from one thing to another. So, yun yung criticism that I hear. But for me, I think it's not an idea of being flighty. But kasi flighty is like you're skipping from one thing to another.
Right.
But I think it's more of an evolution na parang this is where I am now, these are the skills I have, this is the career I have. And when you look at what is the next step, it's always about growth. Like what else can I add to my set of skills? Where else can I apply my learning for more impact? So yun, it's really a process, especially in business where there's so many factors and different places to go. Yun, I'm not sure if I answered your question, pero it's really it's really even now in family business, I'm being challenged to again redefine what I
Okay.
am because now that I'm in the studio, I'm learning that to be better in the business of a photo studio, I have to be a photographer.
Okay.
So now being able to embrace again that I have to evolve my set of skills and become a photographer also. So ganun siya.
Ayun.
There's no
Ano lang.
one way that a career goes.
So how about this, Angela?
Sige, sir.
You graduated second honors, right, during high school. Tama. So,
Yes po.
what motivated you to excel academically? I mean, like, while you are doing your assignments, your quizzes, you're answering your quizzes, your tests, did it occur to you that if I'm going to ace this test, I will have a better career? Something like that. Did you have that in mind when you were in high school, do you think?
I think hmm, I think it wasn't so much of a career. I think it was getting into a good college.
Right.
Yeah. Kasi I think at that point, my eyes were not set that far as a career. But it was more of, especially in third year and fourth year, kasi wala pang K plus 12
Tama.
back in that time. So it was more of being able to give myself the chance to get into a good college. Because the goal I had at that time was to go to college in Manila and have the choice of going to the big schools.
That's right.
So at that time, it's Ateneo, LaSalle, UP. Um, yeah, that was the choices for me. So for me at that point in high school, doing well in school meant giving myself the more options and good options. So
Ayun.
hanggang dun lang I think was my goal.
Pero at least, di ba, there's a certain outlook, no, step by step in achieving a career.
Yeah.
So as a high school, so do you think, no, would you advise, Angela, nga, as a high school, you don't really have to think about what your career in the future is? What do you think? So step by step lang sa...
Well, I think it's not a bad thing to have a dream. Okay, I really have friends na as early as high school, nag-ingon gid sila na I will be a surgeon, I will be a doctor, I will be a lawyer.
Claim.
And karon they're really doing it. They're really going through med school. They're really going through law school. One of my classmates, I think she passed the bar already last year, so she's a lawyer. My other classmates, they're finishing med school. So I can remember sa high school yun talaga yung dream nila. But I think my advice would be, if you don't have a dream as powerful as your other classmates that dream talaga nila maging ganito, ganyan, it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay to take it one step at a time. Because what I always like to tell myself is that by leaving yourself that room of uncertainty and that room of not really knowing exactly where you're gonna be, that's the space that you will allow miracles to work, or you allow God to work in your life. That's where you allow people to come in, lessons to come in, and that's really where you grow. Because if you plan everything, I'm sure that nothing will go according to plan 100% of the time. But if you already orient yourself na, this is my time to learn, then you're opening up yourself to opportunities and hopefully blessings that will come your way. Yun siya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very nice,
thank you so
sir, no? Yung space na, no, kumbaga. Kasi sometimes, di ba, some people tend to get frustrated if they don't get the kind of job that they want or the future that they want. So it's important for us to emphasize, no, to ourselves that it's okay if some things are not really going as planned, no, but because probably the things that work for someone will not really work for you. Maybe
That's
there
right.
are other things that will work for you that you have to pursue. No? Tsaka, our mind changes over time, di ba, Sir Al?
Sakto.
Nagbabago tayo eh, nagbabago.
Change is the only constant thing, right?
Yeah. So, whatever probably our students will be thinking for now will somehow change in the next few months, next
Tama.
few years, di ba?
But
Mm.
Angela is right naman when you talk about or planning about
Mm-mm.
something or maybe looking into the future,
Mm-mm.
faith should be factored in, di ba? It should not
Yes,
be left out. So,
definitely,
dapat
definitely,
nandyan yung
sir.
faith, no?
Mm.
Believe in oneself and also sa creator natin,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Sige.
So, my next question, Miss Angela, is what future outlook do you see within the industry that you are currently in? So, how do you see, kumbaga, parang, how do you see yourself kumbaga, in the industry that you're in now?
Um, so right now, I would say that I'm an entrepreneur. So from being an employee in the corporate world, I moved to being a freelance consultant. And then now, since I'm back in the family business, like I would consider my field of work to be entrepreneurship. Although my specialty as a professional will really be branding and marketing. So in this world of entrepreneurship, business, and marketing, I think it's a very exciting time to do business because I really believe in the power of entrepreneurship, of creating jobs, and I believe that there's a big potential to bring local brands to the global stage. So I think a lot of people are fed the idea that you have to work for someone to get places. But for me, what I believe now and what I'm learning is you work for other people to learn whatever you can and to learn and to build friendships and get ideas and inspiration. But if I could argue, if you have the opportunity and the determination to do business, do your own business, it's a very exciting journey. Because iba talaga yung feeling when you own something and when you're able to grow and to create jobs and to take care of people. It's a big responsibility, but I also think there is a big space for good business and good businessmen in this day and age. Kasi nauso ngayon yung online business, di ba?
Right.
So, yun yung mga trends ngayon, especially nasa bahay lang lahat. So, I think na there's really a lot of opportunity to be your own boss, but there's a lot of responsibility to do it right, to seek out proper business principles, to treat your employees and your suppliers well. Okay, through business, through good business, it's really a way that you can bring up your community with you. So, if there are people that still haven't heard of the term social entrepreneurship or sustainability, social business, social impact, it's a good thing to look into. Okay, if you're looking to help people, it's time to redefine also how you do business. So kana akong na-excite ko ato. I see that in the future that a lot of people will be motivated to start their own business. But there is a responsibility to do it properly. Do it with a heart.
Ayun.
Kana.
Yeah.
Since of course Angela is an entrepreneur and she's our guest right now, I
Mhm.
think it's okay for her to plug naman one of her products, no? How about you share with us, Angela, one of your latest products and then how you go about it. I think sa ako nakita karon, I think the best the latest product that you have were those bags, right? That you are currently what do you
Yeah,
call it,
actually. So, thank you, Sir Al. Malalang friends sa Facebook. um, so, my full-time naman is my family business. So, that would be Terra Nostra Studio. So, we're a photo studio, a multimedia studio here in Butuan City. And we also have the Scooping Bar. So, that's a ice cream and desserts
Yun.
brand that my family also started. So, those are my full-time good. Like, if you ask me, kana dapat akong gina-work on, which is what I'm trying to do. But as Sir Al mentioned, on this side, I also have my own passion projects as an entrepreneur. So the bags that he mentioned is also a social enterprise that my friend and I created. So what we do is that my friend who's a very talented designer, and we come together and we create designs for natural handmade bags and accessories. And we work with communities to produce these things. So if you want to check it out, the page is called Arya by
Arya.
Nature. So it's what we do there. It's 100% natural. So all the products are biodegradable. We use natural materials only. It's 100% handmade. So every piece is really made by someone and provides livelihood to people who work with their hands. And it's 100% joy. And that for us means that everyone that's included, especially the customer, tanan dapat happy sa produkto and happy sa process. So that's my small business on the side also.
So you can really see Angela, no, as a product of FSUU, embodies the ideal Orion, right? No, karang it's still there kang Angela, no, to work and then help out others to ato ang unity and altruism,
Yes,
right?
definitely, Sir
Embodied.
Al. Kumbaga, wherever life will take you, di ba? It's very important to keep our values.
Yun.
Ayun. And Miss Angela, last question. What are the tips that or advices, no, that you can share to our students in FSUU and maybe to everyone na rin, no? When it comes to achieving uh, a career success, kumbaga.
Since you mentioned career success, so number one, I think my tip would be to ask yourself how you define success, because that will really set the tone it will set your mindset when it comes to career. So some people would define success as monetary, meaning you want to be rich, you want to have certain things. Some people would define success as relationships, meaning you have good relationships with your family or you're able to start your own family or those types of things. Others would, it's more socially inclined, so service based. Others for faith. So there's really a lot of ways to define success, and each definition, no one can tell it for you talaga. You define that for yourself. Yun, I think that's the first thing that you need to ask yourself. Dili ka ma-pressure dapat sa uban na ilang ganahan is to be a millionaire. If your dream is to be is to work in the field, to do it, that's fine. If your dream is to if you want to be a mother, if you want to be a homemaker, like that's fine too. Like people need to know that there are different ways of defining success. Yun, dili ka dapat magselos or magtanaw sa uban, but you define that for yourself. My second, yes, ma'am. Is there
Okay,
something
go.
you want to say?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. So, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, na-distract lang ko sa success na part.
Yeah. But it's a good point, no? Na-define mo na yung success. But what is your, kumbaga, advice and tips, no, in achieving career success, kumbaga?
Okay. So, career-wise, I think number one is that you don't have to be good at everything. But you have to know what you're good at. So, having a skill that you can own as your own skill will give you confidence, period. So, for example, my experience in college was that I was met with a lot of very, very smart people and very skilled people. And I thought that parang I was no longer the smart one, because there's so many people who are so much smarter than me. And if you just want to be smart, you'll never beat any, parang you'll never get there. So I had, for me, it was a process of, okay, if daghan kay bright, unsa man ko? Like, what do I have to offer? What do I have to bring to the table? Kaya syempre, if for example, group work, and then wala kay maingon, like, or wala kay point of view, there you don't have a point of view, then it really does a lot on your confidence as a student and later on in your career. So I think early on, if you can understand what are the things I like or what are the things I'm skilled at, then it will give you a point of view. It will give you confidence and it will give you something to offer and put on the table and something to build on. So, for example, for me, um, I like I like writing. I like putting together ideas. And later on, I had a very simple interest of making PowerPoints and making keynotes. So presentations. So I like making it look nice. I like things that look aesthetically nice, that it conveys a clear message. So I built on that, and then so sa group work, confident na ko na sige ako maghimo sa PowerPoint, sa keynote kay I'm sure na it's really gonna be nice. There, from that simple thing na ako confident ko sa akong mga PowerPoint, my presentations, and confident with my presenting skills, it opened doors for me to join marketing competitions. And that's when I realized na that sort of niche skill that I liked and that I wanted to build, it can be applied one day somewhere else. So you don't have to have the big picture in mind, but give yourself a chance food by exploring kung unsa gid ang interest and owning it. Now this is what I'm good at, or this is what I can offer. This is what I'm willing to develop. And that skill will give you confidence, and that confidence can bring you places. So, kana.
I
Yun,
agree to that, no?
Di ba, while Angela was talking earlier regarding how frustrated she was, no, being around very intelligent people. I remembered, Angela, right, when you were in first year college, you was it Twitter or Facebook? You messaged me, and then Angela was like, by reading at the post or the message bato or something. Angela was like, Sir Al, they're talking about roses, limacons, and mathematics. You didn't have this in high school. You remember that, right? You remember that?
Sir, kuya
No.
ko ito.
Yeah.
Ang graph kay mahimog rose.
Yeah.
Like, how did
So
this happen?
that was like what? In the first semester, right? In college, diba?
Yes,
You
I
messaged me.
remember that.
And then you said like, my high school life was a lie, something like that. Yeah, I understand Angela's frustration and understand that we are quite behind when it comes to mathematics, especially in education. Diba, sa Imperial Manila, kay kuan man sila, they are advanced naman when it comes to lessons. So that's it. And I was like, oh yeah, but I cannot provide all the students with this because it would be too much for them. So damn, share ko lang. Share ko lang. But
Kaya lang,
anyway,
honors course bitaw to, sir. So I asked I gave myself a hard time also.
lagi tama po.
But yeah, I remember that feeling na murag. I think that brings me back to my point gaina na you really, at a certain point, you really will be at a disadvantage bisag unsaon, not because of the school that you went to, but because of a lot of factors. You can blame it on where you were born, you can blame it on your social status, you can blame it on whatever opportunities. But going back to what I said later, knowing what you're good at and what you're interested in, it will give you confidence. And yun, kana lang, na knowing na kani ang akong ma-offer. Because, yeah, I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. It really makes sense. No? Kumbaga, at the end of the day, it really boils down to kumbaga yung sa message ni Miss Angela is, kumbaga, you have to know where you are good at. Kumbaga, your strengths. No, knowing your strength is very important, no, in order to be confident. Kasi
I can share, ma'am, a concrete
sure.
example.
Sige, go ahead.
In my third year in college, so at that point, dili man ko, yes, I was in an honors course, but my grades, dili siya like something na you'll be super, okay lang, I was just doing okay. But that time I mentioned na I was really getting into making PowerPoints, making good presentations because a lot of our majors required presenting. So yun yung naging thing ko at that point. So because of that skill, I was invited to join a selected group of students to be trained by the university to represent the school in business case competitions. So when I was invited, I had no idea that this thing existed. And the reason why I had no idea it existed is because they only invite people with the top grades. So they have this, yeah, that's why pala I don't know it exists, because a very limited number of people get filtered based on their grades. So kung sa first time pa lang sa grades, walang yun ko idea na because I don't reach the requirement. So what happened that year that I was invited was when they filtered people based on grades, they needed a team of 4 people. They had a finance person because in a business case you need financials. They had 2 strategic people that are very good thinkers. Sila gani ang top sa school, di ba? So,
Ideas.
but the 4th one, they needed a communicator. They needed someone that knew how to present ideas in a compelling way and to make visuals. So since they looked at all the top smartest people in the school and they couldn't find someone to fill that spot, they couldn't find a fit, they talked to me. so I was there sitting with my group mates. There was one of them was one of them ended up to be the valedictorian for the whole school.
Oh.
The other one was the top of her program for the management honors program, and the other one was a double major, management engineering and applied mathematical finance. And then there was me who knows how to make PowerPoint. Yeah, but because I had that skill and I was confident in it, I never felt that I was lesser than them because I had that skill. I knew what I can bring to the table. I know that kana gid akong maingon. I will not try to be the finance person. I will not try to be the smartest in the school. I will not try to be the valedictorian. But I have a role and I can do it well. So that's an example of what I mean. Then that's what led to other things na dahil.
Yes. No, thank you so much for that concrete example. No, at least, diba, no, tayo view na, yeah, this is really happening this is what really happens, diba, when you know where you're good at. Kumbaga, Sir Al, to wrap these things up, no, if there's one thing that I really learned from this, it's really, kumbaga, one thing lang ba? Parang 2 things pala.
Sige, 2 things
One
lang.
thing is really to learn how to adapt. Kumbaga, kaya nga 'di ba, we are emphasizing that we don't just master one skill. At kumbaga, you know your strength, but you also have to learn. Kumbaga, you have to learn how to make that strength grow pa and learn many skills kasi 'di ba, in a changing world, we have to learn to adapt. 'Di ba? We can so that kumbaga, hindi ka lang sa iisang bagay ka lang pwede. Pwede ka in anything. Kumbaga, no. At the same time, our second thing that I really learned from this is really to find your purpose. No, kumbaga, it's really about what is the
Your role.
thing, kumbaga, that your heart is leading you to. Kumbaga.
And also, I can relate naman with your point, and of course, Angela's point. When it comes to, you have to know, you don't have to be best at everything. Sa ako, even during high school, I always consider the phrase that I should know at least a little bit of everything. So that, for me, that was so important for you to be able to understand people, for you to be able to understand how things work. So even as early as high school, I had that, what Angela was talking earlier, I already had that idea also na I should know a little bit of everything. Diba? So, Angela, I think we would love to extend this further. We would love to have more time with you, to have more chikahan. And I think mas
Pausap, sir, eh.
taas pa, dagan pag pwede mas storyahan with Angela, especially Angela is so accommodating. But I think we all have things to do, especially Angela as an entrepreneur. No? I think daghan pa siya buluhaton as well as. So, I think we need to wrap this up, Ma'am Claudine.
Yep. So, I think that concludes our kumbaga, career talk
Yun.
for this
Ma'am, can I
afternoon.
just say one more
Ay,
thing?
yeah,
Ayun, basit na yung
sure,
finale,
sure,
no? Words
sure.
from Angela.
Oo. I think one thing lang I'd like to share from my journey in this career, mga build your own career, ang akong na-experience, is to really have faith every step of the way.
Amen.
I would never have thought that I would leave corporate and find something else. I never thought that I would be home. So you never really know where your career or your life may take you. But if you can find peace and find purpose, knowing that God has a plan for you, and that will really be what carries you through. Especially karon na COVID, a lot of plans are really put away. But if you know in your heart that you're doing your best to honor God and do things well, it will give you a lot of peace of mind. So sa imong career choices, sa imong studies, there's a lot of questions, a lot of people to please. Pero at the end of the day, I try to do my best in everything I do because I know that my good work is my way of honoring God. I try to be my best and I try to do well in the relationships around me, as in my family and as an employer and as an entrepreneur, because I know that it's the right thing to do because it honors God. I know that I came home and I'm here now and it's okay. And I'm okay with where I am now. Because some people would say, balik man ka, you were doing well in Manila, blah, 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 blah. But I'm perfectly fine where I am. I'm very happy to be here helping my family because I know it honors God. So, kana lang akong last na maingon for now.
Last
yeah.
words, oh.
Mm-mm.
So thank you,
so
Angela, to have
much.
faith. Yun.
Yes.
You should always have faith.
Napakaganda, napakaganda. Thank you so much, Miss Angela, for your time and for all your advices. I'm pretty sure that all our students who will be listening to us right now, or who are listening to us right now, will really learn from this career talk.
Yeah. So in behalf of the FSU community, in behalf of FSU Basic Education, and in behalf of the Guidance and Counseling Office, we would like to extend our thanks, Angela, for being with us this afternoon for this career talk. So I hope we would see you again in the future talk, in the future episodes, no, especially in Guidance Counseling Office. So by wrapping this up, so this has been Sir Al.
And this is Claudine Adrales,
And our guest, Angela.
Angela Andaya.
So
Thank
we
you so much.
leave this by a message, of course, our alma mater, Luceat, Lux Bestra,
Nunc
Nunc
et
et
semper.
Semper. Good afternoon,
Good
everyone.
afternoon,
Thank you so much.
everyone.